Duke Mason, and I'm from Joplin, Missouri.
Millionaires may never pay less, though they're always worrying about their income tax. Why waste time on our financing? I'd rather spend it on good romancing. What if my pockets are empty as can be? Who needs money? Not me. Tell me.
Some folks save it, some folks lend it, but as for me, I want to spend it. Give me some green-eyed mustache.
Well, actually, our family, we used to travel as a gospel group, and so ever since I was about 4 years old, something like that, I was singing with our family, and we used to travel all over the country, all over the world actually, singing gospel music. And then I kind of quit around the time when a young guy's voice starts changing, you know, and I sang a couple times then, and it was real crackly and going up and down and that kind of stuff. So I quit for a few years, and then when I was about 21, something like that, I actually ran into a guy named Terry Mike Jeffrey, and we kind of bonded as friends over some Elvis stuff, and he found out I used to sing, and he kind of got me back doing some more of it, and it just started going from there, and that's been 20 some years ago, and been doing it ever since.
Now that I'm in love with you, so please don't take advantage, 'cause you know my love is true. Please love me to what they do. Hold my hand and promise that you'll always love me too. Make me know you love me the same way I love you. Girl, you have me at your mercy. And now that I'm in love with you, so please don't take advantage, 'cause you know my love is true. And please love me too, I love you.
You know, I think I was always kind of aware of Elvis. Like I said, when we used to travel and do gospel music, of course, you know, Elvis was huge into gospel music. And I would even hear Dad tell some stories of a few encounters, not with Elvis, but with people that worked for Elvis. And so I was kind of aware of it. But when I was, let's see, I would have been about 8 years old in '77. And we were doing a show up in Michigan, Mackinac City, Michigan. And kind of a Branson-style show. Our family was doing one up there. And during the afternoons, my dad would run out and do appearances at little cafes or that, trying to promote the show that we had that night. And he came home and or came back to the show that night. And I remember him walking in the door, and I was just sitting over, probably playing with a toy or something. But I heard him say to Mom, "Did you hear that Elvis Presley passed away?" And even though I didn't really grasp the enormity of what that meant, I knew it was something very significant. And that night after our show, I remember sitting up and listening to the radio just for hours and hours, and they just played constant Elvis music back to back. And from that time on, I've just always been an Elvis fan. You know, I was aware of him before, and then once he passed away, I really got into it more. Of course, I was, you know, young at that time, but and as I grew up, I really started to respect the talent that he had.
Yeehaw! Yeehaw, that's what I thought. Goodness, glad to be here again this year at Elvis Weekend. It's hot. Woo! Oh yeah, that's cool. I'm starting to sweat. And when things get wet, they shrink. Is that true? Come on, people. That's
Offering all that's new. The last time I saw you, I smiled and tell you it's been a day or two. There's a way to tell you the pain that and my love you have left me in the sky we blue.
I got a bear.
I talk to your picture.
Usually when I go up, I do have, especially at the tent, you know, I kind of have an outline of what I'm going to do, but I always throw some extra songs on there, and then you're able to pick and choose a little more, you know, because you always want to, you know, please the crowd there. I don't want to go up and just do the songs that I necessarily want to do. Let me see if does that make any sense really? I mean, I do the songs I want to do, but once you see what the crowd's reacting to and what they're really enjoying, I try to, you know, kind of gear it a little more that way. So I usually come up with a great big list of songs that I am prepared to do, and then kind of whittle it down as I see how the crowd responds.
You say you found somebody new, whose love will always be true. I don't know what it is to be alone. That's why I'm glad to know you're gone. Oh, Judy, don't let our sweet love wither like flowers in the fall. Oh, Judy, don't you know it's you I love most of all? Oh, please, come back, I promise always to be true. Oh, Judy, there'll never be anyone else here with you.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine who has been a TV writer for years. He put together a thing called the Duke and Daryl Comedy Show, and it was kind of a mockumentary, kind of in the style of if you remember, This Is Spinal Tap, you know, kind of about a comedy duo that used to be together back years ago and kind of broke up, like, you know, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, and then are reuniting, and it was a lot of fun to do, and it's online, and yeah, it's what I like to call comedy. My wife would disagree; she doesn't think it's really funny, but I thought it was funny.
And then I had my love as perfect as could be. She lived, she loved, she laughed, she cried, and it was all for me. I'll never know who taught me love. Now that it's over and done, who learned a lesson when she broke my heart? I was the one.
Is that like a treat?
And then one day,
I'm probably a little more nervous, and I probably work a little differently trying to get the crowd, because when we're somewhere else and we're doing a show, we might do a lot of, you know, Elvis music in it, and but when you're here, these people, they're schooled in Elvis music. They know, and so you know, every once in a while, of course it happens to everybody, but you miss a word or you forget a line of that. And in some of our other shows, other places, sometimes I can stumble through and kind of make up some words and get around it. But here, boy, you miss a word, they know it. But they're very forgiving. They're very forgiving. They'll wink at you, or they'll point at you, or they'll be singing it along, and they'll get you right back on track. So you know, it's a lot of fun. They make you step your game up quite a bit.
it wouldn't mean a thing if I could be a king. I really wouldn't care settle down. I gotta move around. I got a lot of time. I'm gonna really find the kind of gals all his brothers do. The kind of feel the way I do. This is living full of fun and free. This is living. That's the life for me.
I want them to have a good time. I want them to remember it. And, you know, I'm not necessarily an impersonator. I don't do that. There are other guys that are just fantastic at doing that. But that's just not, you know, what I do. And since I am a little different than the other performers that go up there, you know, a lot of times I know when people are walking by and I'm singing there, they're drawn in, you know, at first when they see me, you know, like, what is this going on over there? But I think probably my biggest goal is maybe after a song or two that they kind of forget about the way that I'm different and they just enjoy the music. You know, because that's what it's about, hanging out over there, is just enjoying the music that Elvis did for us.
Hey, this is for my buddy Joel over there. He likes gospel. All right.
Well, I was drifting, and I was wondering, and Jesus found me. He heard me pray, and I was singing, because I'm happy, and I don't know just what I'd do if the Lord wasn't walking by my side. What would I do? What would I do? Well, I'd be lonely, discouraged, and burdened all the way. If the Lord wasn't walking by my side every day, I'd be so free. And I'd be helpless, and I don't know just what I'd do if the Lord wasn't walking by my side. What would I do when the tears come my eyes? What would I do when it's my time to die? Well, I'd be lonely, discouraged, and burdened all the way. If the Lord wasn't walking by my side every day, I'd be so free. And I'd be helpless, and I don't know just what I'd do if the Lord wasn't walking by my side. If the Lord wasn't walking by.
I'll have a couple performances right around Joplin, Missouri, where we live. And then the end of this month, my band and I, because I do have a live band, and we're playing on our 4th Duke Mason Band cruise. And we've gone to the Caribbean the first 3 times. This time, we're going to Alaska. And actually, Terry Mike Jeffrey's going to go on there and be a special guest with us. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's our next big thing coming up is a Alaska cruise.
And love, life and cry. I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and there I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I didn't my way. For what is a man? What has he done? It's not himself, it is not to say